Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be going over cost cap and how important cost cap is to control your costs when you're doing large daily budgets. So what I want to go through a campaign that I've been running recently as a test for this cost cap to see exactly what it does and kind of what sort of results you can expect to see if you decide to run it as well. So let's just jump straight into the computer and I can show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see here, I've been running this since the 27th of June. So this is the day before. So on the 26th of June here, you can see that there was nothing spent and I've got it set at £1,000 a day. So what I've done with this is instead of setting it as lowest cost at the campaign level like it does by default, I've set this at cost cap and I've set each of my ad sets within this campaign as 75% of my break-even point. So this product, my break even on this is just over £19. So my cost cap around 75% is around £15. So the cost cap in here is about £15. So on the 27th of June, if I just jump over here, you can see it spent 240 of the 1,000, okay? And it did a 1.9 ROAS. So the break even on this is a 1.45. So on the very first day, it didn't spend 1,000, but it stayed profitable and it spent what it could to make sure I was profitable. And this is sort of something I've been seeing with cost cap, is that it won't spend unless it can keep those costs at that level that you've set. And if that level is below your break-even point, then Facebook should never really spend more than what your break-even point is to get a purchase. So in theory, you should always stay profitable. And that's kind of the theory behind this sort of campaign that I've been running to show you guys and how I've been working it, is that if Facebook can't spend more than your break-even point, then you should never really be in a loss. So this was the first day and it spent £240 and it did a 1.9. So on the 28th, which is the second day, it spent £400. So now Facebook knows kind of more information, it knows what it's going for, it knows which people are getting those purchases and keeping my costs low. So it's actually spent more budget. And if you look, my ROAS is actually 2.26. So it's actually become more profitable with a higher spend, because Facebook is still keeping that cost within the cap that I've set. So then on the 29th, it spent even more. It went up to £567 and then I was at 2.14. So again, the break even is 1.45, comfortably, very healthy kind of profitability on it, and it's doing really well. So it's still not reaching the 1,000 a day because the cost cap is too strict. So because if I wanted to try and increase this, I would just up my cost cap by £1, £2 every other day to see if I can kind of keep it profitable, but also increase that spend so it spends the full 1,000. But at the moment, with it being set at £15, it can't spend the full 1,000 because it can't reach those people for that cost. So what this is doing is basically controlling my cost so I don't blow that entire £1,000 in a day, but it keeps it profitable for me. So Facebook will just spend until the point where it can't get any more sales for the cost I've set. And that's how you control it. So on the third day in, it spent 567 out of the 1,000. And then if I go to the 30th, it almost spent the full amount. Now I didn't increase my cost cap. I left it at the £15 that it was set at. And it spent 969 of the 1,000. And my ROAS was 2.29. So it was profitable even there. So it spent £1,000 and brought in just over £2,000. So it was good. It was a nice profitable day, but it kept my cost. If you see here, my cost per result is at £14.47. So I was getting sales just on this test campaign. I have other campaigns running a different kind of manual bids, automatic bids, but those kind of testing this product with this targeting method to see what it would do. So at £14.47, I'm well beneath my break-even point. My break-even point is £19. So every sale I got was below my break-even point. So every sale I made was profitable within that campaign. So it spent the 969. So then on the 1st of July, it actually dropped down a little bit. And the reason it dropped down a little bit was because it couldn't reach the people for the same cost. So it couldn't spend that budget. So it did £668 on that day and did a 2.35 ROAS. Which again, really, really profitable. So it's a good day. It's spending less. It's not spending the full amount, but it's controlling my cost to allow me to be more profitable. Then on the 2nd of July, it dropped down even more to 495. So it's starting to slow down a little bit now. And the reason for that is, as you can see here, it ended up being a bad day, because you do get bad days. So the sales on this day dropped down. Facebook still had in its algorithm, in its campaign, that this was a profitable campaign and it can spend a certain amount to reach the sales, but unfortunately on this day it didn't. So it ended up spending 494, but came in ever so slightly a loss. But what you also have to remember is Facebook doesn't capture everything in here. It misses sales. So this was still a profitable day. It was just this particular campaign ended up being, or recorded on here as not being profitable. So then on the 3rd of July, it spent 139. So it really dropped off now. Because if you look here, it was a really bad day. So this is one of the worst days that I had. It dropped down to a 0.82. So Facebook's now struggling to reach those people and get those sales at the same cost that it was at the beginning of the campaign. On the 4th of July, it spent 135, so it kept that cost low again because it's not been doing well for the last few days, so it was reducing how much it could spend. But on that day, it was profitable again. So even though it didn't bring in a lot because it reduced the spend of that particular campaign, it was still profitable, that campaign. Even at £1,000 a day, it only spent £136, but it was profitable. So then after that, the next day, because it had a profitable day again, it could start to look at it and go, oh, it's back, it's working again now with these costs. So it spent a little bit more, £301, pretty much double, and it was at 2.21. So now you can see it's starting to creep back up again. And this went on for a while. So if I just change this campaign, I'm just gonna get lifetime, which would be easier. I spent just short of £8,000. So it was running for longer than 8 days because, like you're seeing, it's spending less than the £1,000 because I'm controlling that cost. I'm telling Facebook that I do not want to spend more than 75% of my break-even point to get a sale. If you can't get me a sale for that price, then don't bother putting it in front of that person. And that's why the cost each day fluctuates, because Facebook can on particular days do that. So overall, over the few weeks it was running, it spent just short of £8,000. And it was a 2.19 ROAS. Even with some of those bad days in there, overall it was profitable and ended up bringing in just short of £17,500 using that cost cap method. Now, if this £1,000 a day budget worries you, don't be too scared about that. You can still use cost cap on lower budgets. If you're running £100 a day or like a $200 a day budget or whatever, put a cost cap on and see what it does. Maybe duplicate a campaign you've already got running that's quite successful and just duplicate identically, and then just set a cost cap on another campaign and just see what the differences are in your metrics. So what you might find is that the cost cap campaign is more profitable, but it's spending a little bit less. So you just kind of have to weigh up what you want more. Doing it this way is a lot slower. Because obviously if I've been running this for a few weeks, I could have spent 14,000, I could have spent 20,000 pounds on this campaign if it was doing 1,000 a day. But would it have been profitable? I'm not sure. So this was a really good test. It worked really well. As you can see, it was profitable. So yeah, this is something new. I've not seen anybody talking about this. This is something I've been testing for a few weeks now. So yeah, give it a go. Go into your campaign, set it as cost cap, and then jump into your ad sets and set your price in your ad set level as 75% of your break-even point. So I hope you found this useful. Give it a go on your campaigns. You could even run it on a £50 a day budget. Just see what it does. It's going to spend less than the £50. You'll never reach that £50 unless you have a really profitable campaign, and that's what you want. I could have set this at £5,000 a day. I could literally just set my campaign at £5,000 a day, and it wouldn't have spent anywhere near that. But if I did get a profitable day, like that £900 day that you saw, if I got that on a £5,000 a day campaign, then Facebook would have just carried on spending, and it would have been profitable. It would have been so profitable by the end of the day. It works really well, and it definitely controls your costs. It's a lot slower. It is a lot slower. You're not going to get as many sales as quickly, but you are going to limit that risk when it comes to your budget. And if you're struggling with budget, if you don't have a lot of budget to test campaigns and do things with, and you want to try and control your costs so you stay profitable while spending more, then especially when you're scaling, then this is a really, really good way. So give it a go. Jump on there and see what you can do. So I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions about the cost cap or anything like that, just drop them in the comments below. I'm answering everything that I can. If you want to get in touch with me, check out the links in the descriptions. There's a bunch of links down there. The academy's in there as well if you want to check that out and learn more about dropshipping. So make sure you check out those links down there. They're extremely useful. But yeah, that's the end of this one. I will catch you in the next one.